Hey guys, welcome back to Breakdown, and today I'm going to be reviewing a very old pay-per-view I did, the Royal Rumble 2009, and I do want to start at kind of two different points, so I'm not totally losing everybody, because some people might I don't want to freaking hear about the Royal Rumbles, or I don't want to hear about 2009 pay-per-views. So I'm going to start in WCW, and I'm going to do a WCW pay-per-view. Now, I didn't start at the beginning. I was thinking about starting at the beginning, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to track which pay-per-views I am reviewing, and I'm going to kind of not really jump back and forth. I'm going to start at a point in time and kind of go forward. That was my idea. That I was just going to review all the certain pay-per-view, but then I thought, well, it'd be probably better to talk about them as a, because a lot of these pay-per-views, they'll say the upcoming pay-per-view is this, and you kind of know where they're heading. Now, a lot of these I'm going to probably have to do research, like the Royal Rumble. I'm probably going to do that because it goes up to WrestleMania 25, and I don't really remember if I watched WrestleMania 25. I think I just watched the Shawn Michaels Undertaker match. I don't think I watched WrestleMania 25, but anyways, I'm going to go back and watch what happened after 2009 and forward. I think I may have to go. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I do remember what happened there. But anyway, let's talk about WCW Slamboree 1993, a Legends reunion. So this is the very, very first Slamboree. It was a good point to start. Was it an awesome show? Well, not really. It was hard to get through, let me tell you. So Sabisco and Tony Schiavone did the announcing. It was awesome. I love Sabisco on the announce team. Tony Schiavone, amazing. I loved him when he was in WWE, WWF at the time. It was amazing. Him and Jesse the Body were amazing back in the day. Him and Sabisco were, it's almost like mirror image to him and Jesse in WWF back in the day. But the show starts off with a fabulous Moolah lifted to the ring by a bunch of hot, sweaty guys. Very, very weird. You don't know who it is at the beginning of the show, though. All these sweaty guys are going, and you're like, who are they carrying? You can't even see who they're carrying. And it was like a little carriage thing that the person was inside or something. And they get down to the ring, and Fabulous Moolah gets out. You see her for a second, and that's it. That's all you see her. What was the point? What was the point? There's a lot about what was the point in this pay-per-view, because there was a lot of times where they showed a random legend and they don't even say anything. Like they're just there behind Eric Bischoff or Missy Hyatt. Missy Hyatt had no idea what the hell she was talking about. Why she was even at this pay-per-view, I have no idea. She didn't do anything. She talked to one legend, and it was dumb and it was stupid. I don't even know who it was. It didn't matter because she shouldn't have been talking to legend. She didn't even know about the prayer at the time. So, yeah, Bischoff and Hyatt were talking and interviewing people throughout the night. It was stupid little things. I don't even remember half the people they talked to. A bunch of different legends. If you want to go back and watch the pay-per-view, you'll see what I'm talking about. It wasn't worth anything. Sometimes they would cut promos for no reason, like they were actually going to have matches. They didn't have matches. People that they talked to. Anyways, but our first match was Beautiful Bobby Eaton and Chris Benoit. Yeah. They took on Two Gold Scorpio and Marcus Bagwell pre-buff days. And this was a pretty good match. It was pretty awesome. You got to see Benoit for what he was. And I know people want to talk about Benoit. They don't want to mention his name or like that. But for what it was, he was a good wrestler. You know, what he did later in life and at the end of his life, people will never know what he did that. But Beautiful Bobby Eaton, I'd have loved Beautiful Bobby Eaton back in the day. The leg drop off the top rope, I always loved that move, and he did it in this match, I believe, and I think he missed it. I'm thinking he either missed it or he hit it, but it didn't matter because the dude got the tag later on, or I don't remember what happened. But it ended up Scorpio got his leg drop flip thing he did. He did that, and Two Cold Scorpio and Marcus Bagwell got the win. It was a good little opening match. It was pretty cool. Benoit and Eaton were a pretty good tag team. I think they wrestled as a team for a little bit. And this is the first time you got a taste of Benoit in WCW. He disappeared at one point in time. I don't remember when he disappears, but I'm assuming, I think around 94 he disappears, and then he comes back like a year later or something. I don't remember. I know he disappears, and then he comes back in like 96, 97. So, because I think he ends up in the ECW, I think at some point. I don't know. That's a whole other thing. Anyways, the next match we got was Van Hammer versus Sid Vicious. And this was like a mystery opponent kind of thing. And Van Hammer comes out. And the first thought in my head, like, who the hell? Why do I care about Van Hammer? Why do I care about a mystery opponent match with him? That was the day, that was the year we lived in WCW, where Van Hammer faced a mystery opponent and people were excited. Colonel Parker was awesome. I loved Colonel Parker. I loved when he was a Stone Cold. I'm pretty sure this was after that point, because Austin and Pillman had a little feud. Austin and Pillman had a feud back before they became Hollywood Blondes, and they were feuding with each other. And Colonel Parker was Austin's manager. Well, Colonel Parker was looking for a new client, and he finally got a new client. And this is where he announced Sid Vicious as his new client. Now, if I remember right, it didn't last very long. Colonel Parker, I think, disappears at this point, or may get involved with Harlem Heat. I think Harlem Heat makes their debut soon. But I'm going to be starting from this point to review some videos from this point, too, and another point in WWE history. So I think we'll find that out. Sid Vicious gets the win here. Sid powerbomb, of course. With Sid Vicious going to lose the Van Hammer, give me a break. Sid Vicious is awesome. I love this Sid Vicious. He's pretty cool. If you ever get a chance to see, I wish they would put it on the network, the Sid VHS tape. If you ever find that, watch that tape, because I think that of all the WCW tapes that they came out at the time, they came out with a Sid one, a Sting one, a Goldberg one, I think a Kevin Nash one. And the Sid one they did around that time, around 98, 97, I think. It was a really good one. Like, compared to all the other ones, I think the Sting one was, the Nash one was good. Goldberg one, but the Sid one and the Kevin Nash one were really pretty decent. There may have been a Flair one and a Macho Man. I think the Macho Man was good, but all the other ones are garbage. So if you ever seen those VHS tapes and you see the Sid tape, pick it up. And if you sell a VHS player, because watch it, because that one's pretty awesome. And I think that's one of the ones that they really haven't transferred the rights. I don't know why. They should just throw it on the network for the hell of it. Because, I mean, it's a good little video thing that they could put on there. And it's not very long. I think it's like 30, 40 minutes long, maybe, if that. I don't even think it's that long. But it's really good. Like, it's like a kind of a biopic on Sid. But anyway, the next match, okay. All right. This is where, okay, I don't know who came up with this idea. Let's drag out all these old codgers that haven't wrestled in a long time, and we're going to have them have a match. They did this, like, numerous times, and let's start. Okay, Dirty Dick Murdoch and Don Morocco and Superfly Snuka. First of all, Don Morocco is tag teaming with Jimmy Snuka. Why is this happening? Dirty Dick Murdoch is with these people. It baffles my mind. They picked the weirdest people to tag team together. And then they took on Wahoo McDaniel, Blackjack Mulligan, and Jumping Jim Brunzell. Who booked this crap? That's what I want to know. Dusty Rhodes, are you booking this shit? What the hell, man? What in the crap did you book? Dirty Dick Murdoch, wait, what? Oh, it was a double DQ because everything went crazy at the end. The match shouldn't even happen. So whatever. It was okay. It was cool seeing Blackjack Mulligan wrestle. If I didn't say this, I've never seen this pay-per-view. This is the first time I've ever seen this pay-per-view. So it was really interesting. I thought I had seen it, but I think what happened with this was that someone never returned the tape to the video store back in the day, and I never got to see this. So seeing this for the first time, it was very, very awesome. And I had to sit and watch it because I had never seen it before. There's only a handful of pay-per-views that I'd never seen before, of the older ones, and this is one of them. And when I watch them and review the pay-per-views I've never seen before, I'll tell you that this was one I'd never seen before. So I had to sit and watch the entire thing. And this match was horrendous. This 6-man tag. What the hell? Boo. Anyway, the next tag team match was even worse. How do you get worse than that? You put guys in there that no one knows who they are. Ivan Koloff and Baron von Raschke takes on Thunderbolt Patterson, and it was supposed to be Bullet Bob Armstrong. Something happened to Bullet Bob. He couldn't be there. Brad Armstrong comes down to tag teams with Thunderbolt Patterson. Thunderbolt Patterson was very, very entertaining. I would love to go back and see more about Thunderbolt Patterson. He seemed like kind of Junkyard Dog meets Dusty Rhodes. And if you like that combination, Thunderbolt Patterson may be someone you want to look up because he was a very, very entertaining black guy. He was in the ring. He was very charismatic. And he was an odd character in the ring. Thunderbolt Patterson and Brad Armstrong get the win. I don't remember how they won. I didn't write it down. I don't think it matters. I think it was some kind of weird kind of ending. But they won. It may have been my count out or something. I don't remember. But Baron Von Ross looked like he was like freaking 70 years old or something. I don't know. He looked like he shouldn't have been in the ring. Ivan Koloff, he looked pretty good. And I think he had wrestled. I think he may have just recently retired or something because he looked damn good being in that ring. Barry Von Ross looked, I don't even know. Like, remember how Ric Flair looked like before he retired? Yeah, like that. That's the way he looked. And he looks weird already. Like his face, he's like bald. And he has like pointy ears. I don't even know. Dude, look up a picture. Baron Von Ross. Okay. Oh my God. The claw guy. People will tell you he's a claw guy. But anyway, there you go. That's the end. Well, no, it's not the end. We'll get to that in a second. There's another match, and it's going to be the last match. Oh my God. Okay, so then we get Dustin Rhodes and Kensuke Kasaki, whatever the hell his name is, take on Rick Rude and Paul Orndorff. Wow. This match was awesome. And this was what makes me angry about Dustin Rhodes, is that they booked him so well in WCW, and then he goes to WWE, and they make him a joke. I understand, Vince, okay, Dusty Rhodes, you put polka dots on him, he did great. Just because his last name is Rhodes doesn't mean you have to make him into a cartoon character. Dustin Rhodes was the natural Dustin Rhodes. He worked well as a babyface with no makeup on, not named effing Gold Dust. He worked well. You didn't have to screw him up. He would have worked well as natural Dustin Rhodes in the WWE. He was pretty popular when he teamed with Dad in WWE against the $1 Million Man and Virgil. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. I believe it was at SummerSlam, probably 92 or something. I don't know. He worked pretty well. He was a pretty good babyface. I don't know why they wanted to screw him up when he got to the WWE. But here, he was with Kensuke Kasaki. I'm trying to say his name again. Oh, my God. But that guy, Kensuke Kasaki. I'll say Kasaki anyway. He ended up being a U.S. champion at one point. I think I'm going to mess up the freaking title history. But anyway, he got beat by somebody big. I don't remember who. May have been Flair. I don't really remember. But the guy was awesome. He was in WCW around this time. I really enjoyed him. Sucks they left. I don't know what happened to him. I might have to look him up and do like a wrestling update or something, tell you what's going on with him. But anyway, this match is really good. I didn't even write down who won. Oh, I know who won. Rick Rude won. Because yeah. So at the end of this match, it was a really good match. It went back and forth. It lasted a while. I think it went about like 20 minutes or something like that. It was pretty interesting, though. Like, they went back and forth. Rude and Kasaki were like in the ring doing a stare down, and they're going around checking them out. And Rick Rude is making fun of Kasaki's body, and Kasaki did the same thing to Rude. It was really funny at the beginning of the match. But after it got started and everything, it was a good match. Rude gets the ending as Orndorff shoves Kasaki off, and Rude hits the Rude Awakening, or whatever he called it in WCW. He hits the Rude Awakening, whatever, and gets the win when Orndorff and Rhodes were battling on the outside. So, it's a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It was what it was. Then we get another old-timers match. Oh. Here we go. Dory Funk Jr. versus Nick Bockwinkel. The unannounced team, Johnny Valentine, joined them. Also, Dory Funk Jr. had Gene Knitsky in his corner. Nick Bockwinkel had Vern Gagne in his corner. NWA versus AWA match. This match went on forever. Was it interesting? Not really. And I'm not just saying that. People were chanting boring during this match. It was okay. It was an okay match. It wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the worst. But it wasn't exciting. It was kind of, It was a wrestling match. It's what it was. It ended up being a draw. They went to a time limit draw. I think it was a 15-minute time limit draw. Thank God it was only 15 minutes time limit draw. Please, oh God. I hope when I watch Slamboree 94, they don't have a rematch. I hope to God they don't have a rematch. Please, we don't want a continuation of the story. Anyways, this match ended stupid. It was, why would you do this? Just recognize. And then, if you didn't believe it, I didn't believe it. They don't even like recognize it, I don't think. The WWE. The WCW had a Hall of Fame. Did you know that? Because I didn't know that. That's a shock to me. They had a Hall of Fame. They just stopped talking about it after a couple years. Because this only went on. Slamboree was only for like a few years. Well, no, Slamboree went on until 2000, I think. But I don't remember hearing about the Hall of Fame anymore. So they inducted Gordon Soley, which is announcer. I haven't really heard much of his announcing work, but he sounds really cool. Luthez, Vern Gagne, whatever. Mr. Wrestling 2, Eddie Graham got inducted into the WCW Hall of Fame. Like it matters, because no one knows about that. If you knew about it, awesome. If you didn't, doesn't really matter. He doesn't recognize it, evidently. Anyways, moving on. Flip the page over because I had to use the opposite side of the paper. This is an interesting match. Sting versus the Prisoner. So, give you a little back history. This is 93. So I believe 92, mid 92. The Big Boss Man had a feud with a guy called Nails. Nails was a guy who was dressed like an ex-con. Orange jumpsuit and all. Could not wrestle. Could not wrestle at all. All he did was choke and choke and choke. Throw a punch and then choke. And throw another punch and choke again. That was his moveset. Maybe a boot every once in a while. Maybe a couple kicks into your ribs on the ground. That was his moveset. He didn't do much. Sting had the worst match ever at Slamboree 93 with the Prisoner. Now, I'm pretty sure this is probably the worst match he's ever had. I have never seen a bad match with Sting until now. This was horrible. Nails was called the Prisoner in WCW, and I looked up his history on Wikipedia because I was wondering how long was he the Prisoner. Not very long. This may have been the one and only time in WCW that he wrestled. Somehow he was like a bodyguard for hire, or a what do you call it, hitman? Somebody hired him to take out Sting or something, which I think ends up being Lex Luger at some point. But anyway, so crossbody splash very awkwardly Sting does, and he wins by a 2 count. Yes, folks, the referee counted the 2 and gave the win to this Sting. I think they realized the match was horrible, and they gave him the win on a 2 count. Go and watch the pay-per-view. I swear to God, he went, ring the bell. And I'm like, good enough for me. It was a shitty match. Probably should end it. Then we get another weird match. This pay-per-view was a bunch of weird matches. And then 2 regular matches at the end of the pay-per-view. We get Dos Hombres come to the ring, dressed in full sombrero, and think Christian and Edge when they did their thing in WWE. But that was after this. And I think that's where they got the idea for it. But I think somebody else did it at some point, too, in wrestling history. Anyway, it was Steamboat and Shane Douglas. I don't really know if Shane Douglas was actually under the mask because it didn't really look like him under the mask. I think it was somebody else. But they just said it was Douglas. But it was Steamboat because he took off the mask at the end of the match. And it was Ricky Steamboat. And they took on the Hollywood Blondes, who were the tag team champions. I think the belts were on the line here. It was a cage match. Why was it in a cage? They didn't even use the damn cage. They really didn't use it. They used it like a couple times at the beginning. Bounce off the cage. And then Steamboat jumped off the top. Did like a crossbody splash onto Austin and Pillman. And that was really, really cool. That was really awesome. But it ended with Austin Stunning Steve Austin doing a stun gun on supposedly Douglas, which, like I said, I don't think it was Douglas. I think it was somebody else in the mask. I bet Douglas couldn't be there. That's why they're like, yeah, put the gimmicks on, because it didn't make sense. Like, why are they in the mask? And everybody's like, oh yeah, we know they're Steamboat Douglas. If you know they're Steamboat Douglas, why the hell are they in the masks then? So there had to have been something with Douglas maybe not being there, and they put somebody out there under the mask so that it could put somebody else out there. The only reason, because if Douglas was actually there, then why the hell did they put the mask on him? It didn't make no damn sense. There's my thing. That's my reason why I think they did it. But anyway, then the next match was Arn Anderson versus Barry Windham for the NWA title. Pretty good match. Not the greatest. Windham got busted open. Barry Windham was a guy that I never really was a huge fan of his wrestling. I never really liked him. I always fast forwarded through his matches, or kind of just, looked in the other direction as the match was going on, didn't pay attention, talked to my grandma about something else, or something like that. Because I never really enjoyed him wrestling very much. Like, I liked him when he was tag team with Dustin Rhodes back in the day, but I never liked his wrestling really too much. So they took on Arn Anderson, good little match. It was really weird because I'm thinking, like, okay, Arn's the bad guy, Barry's the face. No, I'm pretty sure Arn Anderson was the baby face here, and Barry Windham was the heel, because they were cheering and they were the Four Horsemen symbol at the beginning, and it kind of threw me off. I'm like, wait, hold on, is Arn the babyface? And it was. So it's very weird, and there was only a short period of time in WCW's history that I think Arn was a babyface. He may have been a babyface at one point a long time ago as well, but right here in '93 at Slamboree, he was a babyface as well. So it's kind of weird. Anyway, then we get to the world title match, and let me tell you this right now. There's a reason why Davey Boy Smith was never in the main event that much in WWE. Here is your reasoning. Watch the match. Was it exciting? Oh boy, about as exciting as Kane versus the Big Show in the WWE. Big Van Vader defends his world championship against Davey Boy Smith, aka known as the British Bulldog in the WWE. Brother-in-law of Bret Hart, and earlier in the night, Stu Hart talked about the upcoming title match, saying stuff that we couldn't really understand what he was saying. Anyways, the match was okay. Vader retains the belt by disqualification. Davey Boy wins by DQ. Vader hit him with a chair after Harley Race provoked Davey. Davey hit Harley Race. That led Vader to hitting him with a plastic orange chair. Yes, this actually happened. Well, the match was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't. It was worse than average. I'll tell you that. It was okay, but the cool thing about this match, though, is I will say this: that Davey Boy Smith picked Vader up for a standing suplex, like a long standing suplex. And if you know what I'm talking about, you need to go back and watch some damn classic wrestling, because it's a classic move that wrestlers used to do, where they go for the suplex, they hold them up, and they keep them up there for like a good couple minutes and then drop them. He did this to Van Vader. Van Vader is like 350 pounds. He weighs quite a bit. Him to be able to do that was amazing. He also did, what was the other thing I was impressed with? Well, the one thing you can tell Vader helped him in the corner when like he jumped and like leaped into his arms, and he did, I think, his finisher, the running power bomb or whatever he did. But he did something like that, and he almost beat him. Whatever. Anyway, I'm kind of marking out there for him. But it was really cool. I remember this. I remember Davey Boy Smith being in the main event picture for a brief period in WCW, and WCW gave people the opportunity like this, but when they didn't pull the trigger, that was a good thing sometimes. But I think him winning the title here could have been something. Could have led to something, but they didn't pull the trigger. Was it because it wasn't a good match? No, because I think he could have went on to do other things with different people. But like I said, it wasn't a great match. Davey Boy Smith was not that kind of a worker. He should not have ever been that kind of a worker. He was a tag team wrestler. That's what he was. That's why some of these wrestling promotions, they didn't know what they were doing. and they should have kept them in the premise that they were supposed to be in. You know, Dave Boy was a tag team wrestler. Put him in a tag team. Owen Hart, great single, great tag team, but he was better in a tag team. They should have kept him in a tag team. So many people that WWE and WCW just screwed over because they wanted to break them up. They didn't want to keep them as a tag team, and it was just stupid. It was dumb. Uh, good example, I believe, was Arn Anderson or Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham. They had them as a tag team at one point, and they broke them up. And it was at a point where they didn't need to break them up because Windham had done everything. Dustin, he was Dustin. Like, what else are you going to do with him? He'd been around forever at that point. I think this was 90. I think a year later is when they won the tag belts. And Windham is a face again. But then they split him up and Windham is a heel. He's not a heel very long until I think he leaves and disappears for a while and goes to the WWE for a brief stint as the Blackjacks with JBL, I believe. But it's weird that they did that, and they continue to do this. They continue to do that. They just need to realize that some people just aren't cut out for singles wrestling. And to break up a tag team, they should always leave an option open to get back together. Now, if they split them up just to have a chance to do a singles thing, that's fine. But put them back together at some point in time. Don't fire their partner, and then this guy's left all alone, and then he's not going to work a single wrestler. And then you're going to release him, and the other wrestler had already gone off and find out. Like I said, you screwed up them and their career and their tag team. You screwed up everything just because you don't understand that they were a tag team wrestler. With that being said, Slamboree 93. I give it a damn D. That's what I do. I do give it a D. It was not very good. It's a classic WCW pay-per-view for the most part. But the best matches on this card was Anderson and Windham. I hate to say it. They were Blondes versus Dos Hombres, Steamboat Douglas, supposedly. Sting's match was like the worst match. I'm like, well, I don't know. It was a bad match. Other than that, the Benoit match with the Gold Scorpio and Bagwell, it was pretty good. Dustin Rhodes tag team match with Rude and Paul Orndorff and Kasaki, whatever. That match was pretty good, but it dragged. Like, that's one thing about Dustin Rhodes that I think sometimes happened, and maybe why they didn't push him further, is because it seems that the matches he was in, it was good, but it dragged a lot. A lot of matches with him in it just dragged, because I don't know if he just lacked charisma. I have no idea. Something just wasn't right. Rude, you could put Rude in the ring with anybody, and he could make them look like $1 million. But you can't change what happens in the ring. Once you get in that ring, you have to perform. And that's where Rude can't help anybody at that point. He can talk them into the building to watch the match, but once the match starts, they have to put on a damn good match. And I have to go back and watch the Rhodes versus Rick Rude match. I'm going to go back and watch it. I'm going to watch Beach Blast 93. I have never seen Beach Blast 93, I don't think. So it'll be a unique pay-per-view for me to see. I don't think I've seen it. But Dustin Rhodes takes on Rick Rude in that match. I will have to talk to you more about that when I see that pay-per-view. But yeah, guys, this was a pretty decent pay-per-view. It wasn't even though I gave it a D, I gave it a D plus, because it was a classic WCW pay-per-view in a way where they booked some horrible matches, but it's just cool to go back and see the guys on the show. You got Ric Flair and a Flair for the Gold, which I didn't even write down why they didn't have him on the show. I think this is where things started to break down for them, because I know in '93 he was going to WCW or WWE for the first time ever. Well, not the first time ever, but you know what I mean. Going, whatever. Things start to break down. This may have been why the contract negotiations maybe have been going on at this time, and maybe that's why he didn't wrestle. But Ric Flair was there and he didn't wrestle. What? Anyways, it's getting to the 30-minute mark. I want to thank you guys for sticking around if you did to the end of this video. If you did, Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this from me, talking to you about old classic wrestling pay-per-views and current pay-per-views, because it's going to be coming. I'm going to be reviewing. I really don't want to go back and do 2016 pay-per-views, but I haven't seen them, so I'll tell you that. I think I've seen WrestleMania. That was it. So I may have to go back and review some 2016 pay-per-views. But I will be starting doing pay-per-view series and talk about certain pay-per-views from a certain time period. And Slamboree 93 and Royal Rumble 2009 was two of the points I started. I don't know if I'm going to start at the 2009 period. I think I may go back and go to around 2003 and do that. Or I may start in 93 and do WWE and see what was going on back then. But I watched a lot of those pay-per-views back then. So but anyway, there you go. I reviewed the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would check it out. If you're a fan of old classic WCW, well, turn it on, watch it in the background. Talk to your friends if they like wrestling. Wouldn't dedicate a whole lot of time to watching this pay-per-view because it ain't that the greatest, but it was a good show. I liked it. It was okay. It was enjoyable. Gave me a lot of memories flashing back and remembering a lot of these guys and storylines that I talked about in this video. So if you guys enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, like always, and keep rocking.